Are you good? Great. All right, the time is 6:04. It is December 9th, and this is a meeting of the Silverton Housing Authority. I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please, Melina.
Trustee Halverson. Here. Trustee Schnitger.
Here.
Trustee Gardner.
Here.
Trustee George.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Harper.
Here.
Mayor Cranker.
Here. Great, thank you. Anne, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Yeah, the first thing on the agenda is approval of the November 25th meeting minutes.
Any questions on the minutes?
You will notice there's a theme tonight is we're starting to separate out the housing authority from from our regular meeting.
Okay, do you need a motion to approve them? No. I'd entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 25th.
So moved.
Second.
Right, roll call, please, Melina.
Trustee Halverson.
Yes.
Trustee Wakefield.
Yes. Yes.
Trustee Gardner. Yes. George.
Yes.
Pro Tem Harper.
Yes.
Mayor Cranker.
Yes. Great. All right, go ahead, Anne.
The next one is the adoption of the 2024 supplemental budget for the Housing Authority. This will be through resolution 2024-05, and I'll kick it over to Gloria.
Going on with our theme again of separating out the housing authority from the general fund. Typically, we would do a supplemental resolution when we have expended more than we budgeted for. But in this case, we're creating a fund. So this resolution in this packet and in your regular packet helps us document that. The separation of the accounts is a little muddy this year because everything was housed in the general fund and some of the grants actually went to the town of Silverton instead of the housing authority. So it's not reflected there on the full cost of the housing authority for 2024. But then you'll see in our budget coming up, 2025, we start really separating out those expenses and line items. So happy to help answer any questions on that one. But I just kind of wanted to help explain why we have to do a supplemental budget.
And I think too, just for the board and anybody listening, I think this is a really great way to go. So it's very transparent, right? Since we established this separate entity and, we don't have a dedicated revenue source for the housing authority. So it is dependent on grants and it historically has been combined with the general fund because of the grants we've received. But this is one step to get us closer to being more separated. And, someone might look at this budget and kind of be like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? It's a $4 million budget. And I think the thing to remember is that this amount is related to the purchase and sale of potential townhomes at Anvil, right? So we have lots that are valued at a certain line item that you'll see in the packet. And then when we go to build those lots out and then sell those, that would be a revenue source for the town as well. So that is the big contributor to that budget amount.
Yeah, so this first one is just for this 2024 supplemental, and then we'll go into the 2025 budget.
Great. Any questions?
No. Procedural today. All right. I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-05, a resolution appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for the housing authority of the town of Silverton, Colorado.
Second.
I'll second.
All right, Lindsay seconded. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Edgar.
Yes.
Trustee Gardner. Yes. George.
Yes.
Pro Tem Harper.
Yes.
Mayor Cranker.
Yes. Great, thanks. So this next one is a public hearing. And again, this is for adopting the budget for the housing authority for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025. So we'll proceed like a public hearing. So first we'll hear from staff, then we can take public comment and then trustees deliberate and make a decision.
Great.
So go ahead, staff.
Yeah, so hopefully this is our first official budget for the Housing Authority in 2025. We did try to separate out most of the expenses for the director, including her salary, as well as benefits. And we also included lines for engineering services, which we've realized we need a lot of right now. As far as us, all these little projects adding up. We also have a line item for citizen engagement in there, which was originally budgeted in the general fund. We separated that out. We're even separating out legal as well, so we can have a really good idea on tracking the expenses here. Like you said, Mayor Cranker, the Anvil development sales and then the grants that we would get to actually offset those sales are accounted for here. I did talk to our accountant on should we really budget for these grants that we might get? And she said, yes, absolutely. So we are throwing everything in there that we could possibly think of. And I'm sure we're gonna have more line items as we build this budget out, is one of the things we're thinking of. Because as we get new grants, those grants need new line items. So I don't want that to cause surprise at all if we have to actually build this out a little bit more. It wouldn't surprise me if we did need to do another supplemental budget next year, just because this is such a new fund and we're still kind of learning how it flows.
So before trustee discussion, let's see if there's any public comment on this Silverton Housing Authority budget. We can have in-person public comment. If you'd like to make a public comment, you can come up and make your public comment, introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes and then we'll move to Zoom public comment. Do we have any in-person public comment? Okay, do we have any public comment on Zoom regarding the Silverton Housing Authority budget? You can click the raise hand button and we'll promote you to panelist. All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Time for trustee discussion on this. Way to go, Anne and Gloria. This has been quite an entity to set up, so thank you for just continuing to plug away at the administrative side of it.
Yeah, I think the budget looks great for the housing authority. I don't have any concerns here.
Maybe if we put that amount out there, it will be likely to be awarded.
I know that number in front of everything could totally disappear.
Yeah. We're doing our best. Any questions on the budget from trustees? Anything to add?
Since
All right.
make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-06.
07.
07?
Is it 06?
No,
07?
06.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, on the budget, it's, oh yeah, sorry. Yep, I'm with you. 06.
A resolution adopting the 2025 budget and setting forth the expenditures and revenues for each of the various funds of the Housing Authority.
Second.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, I was jumping ahead. All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Robertson?
Yes.
Trustee Wakefield?
Yes.
Trustee Schnitger?
Yes.
Trustee Gardner?
Yes.
Trustee George?
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Cranker?
Yes. Great. Okay, now we're moving on to agenda item resolution 2024-07. This is resolution for the Housing Authority to take the necessary steps to open bank accounts for the authority and its entities with the Bank of San Juan's and to authorize signatories and supervisors on all bank accounts.
Now that you got through all of that, we did decide to actually take it off. We forgot to mention at the beginning.
Okay.
But we are formally editing the agenda to remove resolution 2024-07.
Okay, thanks. All right, well then moving on to agenda item 5, which would be the operating agreement for Anvil Townhomes LLC.
So at the November 25th meeting, the board approved pursuing or opening Anvil Townhomes LLC, which is a single purpose entity, 100% owned by the Silverton Housing Authority for the purposes of taking on any financial risks, legal risks, debt associated with the Anvil Townhome Development Project. And so following that meeting on November 26th, We created Anvil Townhomes LLC with the Colorado Secretary of State. And now the next step is to execute an operating agreement. Basically, this says that the housing authority is 100% owner, member, and manager. And the language in there really just says that everything that the LLC does is decided by the housing authority. And so the options here is a motion to execute the operating agreement, or if you have direction to make any changes, you can do that as well. Any questions about this?
Questions? I'm seeing no questions. The motion is on page 14.
Okay, I'll make the motion to execute the operating agreement for Anvil Townhomes LLC.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Melina?
Trustee Halverson,
Yes.
trustee Wakefield,
Yes.
Schnitger,
Yes.
trustee Gardner,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harper,
Yes.
Mayor Kränker.
Yes. Okay, moving on to the next agenda item, direction to request $6,350 from the San Juan County Board of County Commissioners for survey and appraisal.
So this will be our final funding request from the San Juan County Board of Commissioners, in efforts to get our Anvil Townhome application complete for the Colorado Division of Housing. The way I like to think of it is we got the project to this teetering point where it will be either fully ready to go or full stop. So to get it fully ready to go, that required a lot of pre-development expenses, such as a survey, a market study, geotechnical analysis, an appraisal. And that all costs something. And so since the Housing Authority does not have revenue or budget for expenses, we have been defaulting to requesting reimbursements from the commissioners from the lodger's tax, because they have an affordable housing fund. And so these are just the final expenses related to this project. The grant application was submitted last Monday. We haven't been turned away yet, so that's good. But this will just be direction to request funding from the county commissioners.
Quick side question. They have a line item for affordable housing at the county. What projects, do we know if they have any projects ongoing, or since we annexed Anvil, should we be asking for more money? Maybe outside of this, get this wrapped up, but then say, you guys don't have any affordable housing projects, we've got a big one.
Yeah.
They did just acquire a lot of land that they might be thinking about.
Okay.
But yes, we have been very successful with kind of $6,000 to $8,000 asks at a time. Would you say that's true, Ann?
Yeah.
But I think Tyler, you do raise a good point as far as I haven't.
Especially if we get to a point where it's like, a couple of weeks ago, it was like, we may have had a full stop based on $36,000. I'm like,
Yeah.
that might be something to, and at least try, Yeah, maybe we don't get it, but they don't have anything like, at least in motion right now. I think we have a pretty good argument.
Is something your request before the end of the year, at their next meeting? They have one?
They have one on Wednesday. I submitted ahead of time. Already submitted a request for this amount this morning, pending your approval. Something that we've been kicking around since the beginning and since the master planning process is the idea of a multi-jurisdictional housing authority. And I think that would open up a lot of opportunities and resources and capacity for the housing authority. And so that is, financial stability and sustainability of the housing authority is a top priority. So I would not be surprised if we set that as our top one of our top priorities for 2025. So at our first meeting in the new year, I'd like the board to create some priorities and maybe pursuing more funding, partnership, a more formal partnership. We can look into that as well.
Well, I think we have a great track record, right? Like, again, this was such a test case. It was so new. It was unclear. The county's done some really great work for years, really investing in Anvil, and we've been able to kind of now pick it up. And so I think finding ways to continue to partner together as we all live in this little community is great. And I think, and really, thanks to your leadership and Gloria's, you've really demonstrated the capability, right, and the capacity, and that's just huge. So I think we have some great success we can champion that could help move us forward in partnership.
The tricky part about the Affordable Housing Fund is also, it's technically an Affordable Housing and Childcare Fund.
Okay.
And to my knowledge, they may have, but to my knowledge, there hasn't been a formal discussion that I know of from the county commissioners determining what percentage of the fund goes to each cause. But as we're looking at our resources as a tiny tax base and small organization, I think a multi-jurisdictional housing authority would be a really strategic move. But all that is to say that the county has been extremely supportive of us this year, both by contributing land for almost no cost, and again, all these little like couple $1,000 requests throughout the year.
Yeah, and I don't mean
No,
to rail
totally.
this. I think this is great. Go move forward with whatever we have here and then just
Yeah,
exploring in the future.
yep. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, seems like a good topic for the new year.
It is.
Thanks, Tyler. Any other questions on this potential staff action to go to the county commissioners for this funding amount? No. No? Okay, so I'm sensing direction.
Yeah.
And then we have the director's report. I just loved our mini little picture in there. I was like, oh, that is us. This graphic is just so great. You have such a great way of displaying information, making it really digestible for people. And I really loved the very mini version of the board. So did you want to highlight anything from the director's report or?
Yeah. So also at the first meeting of the new year, it'll be interesting because it has to go formally to the mayor. And so not necessarily through the housing authority, but the housing authority has to submit an annual report to the mayor. But that will be a more extensive document, really looking at what we accomplished. But I did just at our final meeting of the year want to highlight some of our accomplishments. And so first being that we had, our board shifted. We had 4 new members in April. 1 full-time staff. And that happened. So my funding was split between San Juan Development Association and the town until June. Now I'm on a new grant that's fully focused on town. So that's exciting. We have approximately 47 housing units in pre-development. And that's across 3 different development projects, the Zanoni parcel, the Boxcar Apartments, and the Anvil Townhomes. And significant progress was made on each of those projects. All still really different levels of pre-development, from conceptual planning to site engineering to having a project that's fully shovel ready, which is really exciting. And thank you all for your support in getting us to that point. Had 11 meetings and work sessions, 3 community events. We own 1.28 acres between the Zanoni parcel and 3 lots in Anvil, thanks to both the town of Silverton and San Juan County. And then the focus for me really was building the organization, but also moving everything forward and communicating clearly what we're doing. And so it took forever, but we finally launched our website. We have a newsletter. I sent out 8 newsletters this year. Currently have 73 subscribers. And leveraging a lot of grant funding. I'd say at least 50, maybe 70% of my time is spent writing and managing grants. But that is part of the process. So this is our first operational calendar year. We started in the end of 2023. So it's just really exciting to get through this first year. And it wasn't without hiccups, but we're learning how to do this better next year. So that is my director's report for this meeting.
Amazing work.
Good work, Ann.
Yeah, I think this shouldn't be glossed over, and what you have been able to accomplish.
Yeah.
All the 3 goals you just mentioned, communicating clearly, keeping the projects moving forward, and like setting this up as an organization. You've really excelled at all of that, and I think we're really lucky to have you. So everybody be nice to Ann because she's amazing. And I just think all the support you provided to the community, the way you've really demonstrated how you care, and your professionalism in all this has been really phenomenal. And the progress, like things are really happening, even if sometimes it feels slow to people that need a place to live. So
Yeah. I'm looking forward to having a more formal visioning and priority setting with this board for next year. So yeah, that is all I have for this meeting.
thanks, Ann. Any other thoughts, comments, questions from the board?
I just wanted to share it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Really great. So this is the point where we would take public comment. If anybody had public comment on anything from the agenda of the Silverton Housing Authority, we will open it up for public comment. Do we have any in-person public comment questions? No, okay. Do we have any online public comment about the Silverton Housing Authority agenda items? Questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment and we'll adjourn the Silverton Housing Authority meeting for 2024. And we will be reconvening as the Silverton Board of Trustees at 7:00 p.m. See you soon, Jim.